Greetings, children of the screen. Your friendly neighborhood nerd scum here once again. Today I'm going to be taking a minute to discuss an indie comic book by creators in my local area, being the Dallas-Fort Worth area. The book is called Don't Be Afraid Part 1, and it is put out by Anomalous Comics under their Anomalous Kids banner. The concept was created by Chris Johnson, from an illustration by Tun Mayo Lang. It's written by Arkeen and illustrated by Rixki Gani, and I apologize for surely butchering those names. Don't Be Afraid Part 1 focuses in on a young man who is horribly sick, terminally so, and the parents who struggle to stay strong for him. It's a story of understanding, accepting and overcoming fear, a story of the preciousness of life, the resilience of the human spirit, as well as the power stories have to help us find meaning in this existence and shape who we become. The book is laden with terrible sadness, overwhelming love, and unshakable hope, but also a zen-like awareness that balances all these other emotional elements, galvanizing them into a perfect bittersweet tone that works so beautifully for this kind of story. The writing is quite good. Utilizing poetry, as many great classical children's stories, the rhyme schemes are sound yet fluid, building a nice pace as you move through the pages and perfectly utilizing the fluidity of the rhyme scheme to increase the emotional impact of key moments. Simply put, it's easy to read and it's easy to connect with on an emotional level. The artwork is beautiful, implementing pop caricature character designs and an immensely inviting color scheme, while at the same time juxtapositioning those stylistic choices with the more ominous content of the scenes. This simultaneously creates in the reader a sensation of a warm, safe place that is yet still fogged by an air of dread. It definitely aids visually in the emotional flow of the narrative. Then when they subvert the established color palette, the shift is definitely felt, even if it's just subconsciously. We know that these characters' world is about to change. All in all, the artwork is very engaging and works perfectly in tandem with the rhyme schemes. Now that is me as an adult, approaching this from a very analytical angle. But that's what's great about good writing, that you don't have to be aware of all the mechanisms at play. The work simply speaks for itself. Whether you know why it's good or not, it does not change the quality or the accessibility of the piece. So I can dissect and analyze all the things that make it work for me, or you can give it to a child, and with them not comprehending how any of those pieces function, the book will still work for them on the same level. And I think we need more kids' comics like this. When I was a kid, the majority of comics were still being marketed to kids. They not always, but usually would try to impart some kind of moral or teach a lesson about life or humanity. Oftentimes, yes, these were wrapped up in bright, colorful action adventures, but they were still trying to impart something positive and useful to their audience, while at the same time not speaking down to them. As many of you know, I work in a comic shop, and while there are a few decently written books geared towards kids, about 90% of them are lowest common denominator art, with stories comprising mostly of pop culture references and fart jokes. The mentality is, they're just kids. They don't know any better. And you know what, maybe that's so. But maybe that's also because we're not giving them any better. And they deserve better. In summation, guys, Don't Be Afraid is a damn fine book, for kids or for adults. I give it my highest recommendation. Keep in mind this is a true blue indie book, so it's going to run a little bit more than your typical comic book, but it is well worth it. Not only for the content, but to support the creators behind it. I discovered this book because Chris Johnson, the creator, was out pounding the pavement, hitting up all comic book shops in his area, trying to get his work into stores. And up until you get your public awareness to a point where you can meet Diamond Distribution's ridiculous requirements, that's what you gotta do. You gotta put in the work, get your stuff out there, and hope that people respond. So what I've covered today is just the first book in the series, and I'm going to be covering the next and discussing the evolution of the content as we go. But if you'd like to check out more from Chris Johnson, I will have the links to all his social media in the description to this video, as well as a link to Anomalous Comics where you can check out their wide range of material. This book was from their kids line, but they also have an adult line featuring horror comics and some action comics and just all kinds of cool stuff, so definitely check that out and show your support. And if you want to meet the gentleman in person or purchase one of these fine books with an autograph, like I got, he'll be at Collected Comics off Altamira in Fort Worth for Free Comic Book Day, Saturday, May 5th, 2018. And we will have copies of Don't Be Afraid, Send in the Clowns, and possibly a few other surprises. Thank you very much for your time, guys. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you like what you saw of Don't Be Afraid, please show your support to Chris Johnson by sharing this video and checking out his social media, and to me by giving this video a like. Also, if you're not subscribed, make sure to subscribe and hit that little bell so you can get updates on all the dope content I'll have coming out in the future. Once again, thank you very much, children of the screen. I hope you all have a good one. Nerd Scum, out.